would define a sneakerhead as someone who's like a hype beast, someone who is always looking for that next popular item, that next in-demand piece. You know, that may be one definition. That's not necessarily how I define it. I think it's someone who's just very conscious of shoes and is very in touch with the shoes that they wear, and they think it's like a very special part of, you know, the clothes that they wear and their whole outfit. It's a form of expression. I guess sneakerhead for me is someone who uses their shoes as a form of expression.
Well, a sneakerhead to me is somebody who, like, of course, collects sneakers and stuff, and they usually like look out for the release dates and see what's coming up throughout the year and stuff like that. So, like, for Jordans, I know that like people can go on 23sback.com and then check like what the release dates are for certain months. So I feel like sneakerheads look out for that and buy shoes and collect it.
Yeah, to me, a sneakerhead is someone who, like, they have a passion for shoes. And they enjoy collecting them, looking for them, you know, buying, selling, trading them. Like she said, looking out for releases, seeing when new ones come out. Just they enjoy, you know, collecting shoes.
Yeah, sneakerhead is pretty much someone who likes collecting sneakers. They don't necessarily collect it for the hype. They collect it for what they like, you know. So basically finding any type of shoe, whether it be Jordan, Nike, Reebok, Adidas, anything like that. Any type of shoe that they like, you know, they get them.
So I got into shoes, sneakers, starting off when I was playing basketball in grade school, in middle school. That's when I first started to get interested in it, and I didn't really have too many shoes, but what I did was I would buy a pair of shoes and kind of cheat the system a little bit. I would buy a pair of shoes, wear them for a little bit, and I would go to the stores that had a return policy that you could return them whenever, like no matter what. So I would return them after I'd worn them for a little while, and then I'd buy a new pair. And that's how I kind of got into just like, you know, having new shoes. And also I felt like I was impressing other people by having these shoes, and it mainly started from basketball.
For me, it was my friends, just being around them, and like I started to realize that they were wearing Jordans and stuff, and I thought that they were really nice too, and I just started following their interests.
That's a good answer. Yeah, for me, when I started, it's influence of friends too. I moved schools like throughout, like in high school, and then when I went to Milpitas High, they were like so into shoes and stuff. So I basically got influence from my friends from there. They're into like the shoe game and release dates and Jordans and whatnot. So that's what started my whole sneakerhead life, I guess.
I started in the sneaker game probably about five and a half years ago. I started out with Nike, knowing absolutely nothing about sneakers, but then it kind of evolved from there. Like being around it so much and being around people that loved it so much, it like you see it more in a different light than just, oh, he's got a pair of shoes on. And yeah, it's cool. Like my friends were just like telling me, my coworkers were just telling me like, oh yeah, this is like the newest thing, da 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 da. And as you learn more about it, like you kind of develop a passion for it. And then I've been collecting for 5 years now, but my parents hate it.
Actually, my friend got me into it. He showed me a couple of shoes online. I was like, oh, those are pretty cool. So like, he's like, yeah, they're pretty popular Jordans. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then I went and camped out with him one time to get some Jordans. I was like, man, this is a good culture to get into, you know, a good hobby to get into. So I started that.
So growing up skating, when I got into it, my older brother actually showed me a skate video called Misled Youth, and I saw skateboarding as like he was hitting handrails and like people grinding stuff. And in my mind, I was just like, man, that's really fun to grind a rail. It was so fun. From there, I guess it's my older brother, just growing up with him, skated day in, day out. It was, I think I started skating when I was 13 or 14, and my older brother was just like my biggest inspiration, so I just wanted to do everything like him.
I collect mostly Jordans, but I pretty much like a lot of Nike's selections. I like Kobe's, KD's, LeBron's, and I also like SB's by Nike's. And I have a few pairs of Vans, too.
When I first started collecting shoes, it was mainly like Jordans, like I guess numbered Jordans, I guess, like 1 through 14, because I don't like 15 to 23. And then once I started working at Nike, what is it called? I developed an interest like towards like running shoes and like dunks and like blazers and stuff like that. But what started it was Jordan collecting.
Yeah, you kind of started off by collecting one, and as you start collecting more, you branch off into other shoes that you start seeing as nicer too. Like she said, I started liking blazers and Air Maxes and stuff like that, and some of Nike's casual shoes are really cool too.
Yeah, coming here, I saw kids around with so much of the same stuff. I kind of wanted to get a little bit away from that. My style has changed since I've moved out here. But now I'm wearing more of the wingtips, like the Oxfords and the checker boots and stuff like that. But I still classify myself as a sneakerhead. People are talking about their J's and their SBs going for like $300-$400. The shoes I have on my feet probably go for $1,000 on eBay resale value, and it's probably more than they bought theirs retail.
I have actually. My parents, every time I bring home shoes, they're like, "Why are you getting these? You have a million pairs of shoes already." I'm like, because I really like these, and they, they're cool. I like the style. They fit my personality. I like to wear these.
My parents, they think it's kind of a waste of money, to be honest. I've gotten my dad to admit a few of them are cool, but my mom just, when she sees a new box in the mail, and she's just like, oh, it's another pair of shoes, that's another, $100 he's spending. They kind of worry about my spending, but I tell them not to worry, it's under control. Because, like she said, like we become selective, and it's not just buy every pair of shoes, it's only buy the ones we really want, So it's worth it to us.
But my parents hate it. I would bring box and box and box home, and they just say, "Didn't you just get another pair of shoes like a week ago?" I'm like, "Yeah, but these ones were cheap. Don't worry about it." And it grew to like a wall of like 120, 130, still growing. I gave a lot of them away. Like I said before, like my style's changed a little bit, so I'm not wearing those SBs and Jordans anymore.
Sorry.
Yeah, people they kind of generalize that all sneakerheads are hype beasts just because, Jordans are cool and everything, but like I said, there's quite a few people who genuinely like the shoes and want to collect it because they have a passion for it, and probably another stereotype is that we waste our money.
Yeah, true.
They can't see a justification in spending $200 for a pair of shoes at the store,
or waiting in line for that.
Yeah,
long.
waiting in line overnight.
When you wait in line, of course, customers come in and out the mall. They're like, "Oh, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for?" And then just like, "Oh, we're waiting for these shoes," and they're like, "Oh, do they have diamonds on them?" Because you're waiting how long, spending a lot of money on them. So a lot of people don't understand why a lot of kids and adults do it, but
people say that you grow out of it, like he's collecting, but he'll grow up, and it's not necessarily true. I know people who are 50, 60, even 70 years old, they're still collecting. They've got 300, 400, 500 pairs of shoes. The biggest collection I've seen is probably 1,000, and the guy's been collecting for decades. It's an appreciation for you could say an art form, or for a sport or music or fashion. It encompasses different areas of life.
So sneaker culture to me is a phenomenon of how people, choose to dress themselves. But I think it goes a little bit beyond just, what shirt you choose to wear, what jeans you buy, or, what hat you wear. I think, people, especially people who are really big in sneaker culture, they really have a more solid connection with the shoes and the shoes they choose to buy, and how long they stick with collecting shoes. I think it's something that also bonds people together. It can come from sports, whether you play basketball and you've been playing basketball for years and years and just developed a collection that way, or whether you're into a certain style of music and that style of music has influenced fashion. You can get into it that way. There's a lot of different ways that someone who is into shoes can be part of this sneaker culture. And I think it's really a lot based on individualism and a lot based on just personal choice.
What side you